Hello, everyone, and welcome to Kick It to Scoops. We've got a very loaded show for you guys and girls today. We have the world-famous segment Scoops Goes Bang, where I'm going to be banging on about the Dan Butler suspension from Thursday night. I did a bonus video. Go check it out. It's the most recent video before this one on video form of the channel. Check that out. Big rant. He's appealing it at the tribunal tonight, along with James Sicily and Ryan Mansell. But the tribunal hearings will probably have been out while I'm recording this. Well, not while I'm recording because it's not out. When you guys are all watching this, the outcomes will probably come out. So I'm recording this in the afternoon here on a on a Tuesday. Rare Tuesday episode of Kick It Scoops. Back next Monday at 7 p.m. But for tonight, on the Tuesday night, 7 p.m. start time, nothing is out officially because I'm recording this in the afternoon, Tuesday afternoon. So just never fear. I will still be giving my thoughts on before the tribunal hearing, and I'll do a separate video if need be, if the suspensions are ridiculously not in favour of what I think they should be, and then I'll make another video on it tomorrow, very likely. But anyway, on the world famous segment, I'm going to bang on about the Dan Butler suspension bullshit and the James Sicily one. Questionable, that one. And some non-suspensions that were not given. And also, why teams need to be honest about their club's injury list and actually publish it truthfully. I'll get to some examples shortly. My heavily debated team of the week, the Scoops men, on my Supercoach talk, will review the rounds just gone and preview the ones coming up. And just my final thoughts. So we'll start off with this. You want me on Cameo? You want me to roast a friend, wish someone happy birthday, anything else? Cameo.com/Cooper G. Like I said, I can roast a friend, wish someone a happy birthday, anything at all, congratulate them on something. Cameo.com/Cooper G. Really appreciate it. Subscribe. Please subscribe if you haven't already on this channel. We're well over 2,200 subscribers right now. On the road to 3K. I want to get it by the end of the year. I thank you all so much for the people that keep subscribing. I can't stress this enough. You're watching this right now, and you got mates and family members that love footy. Get them to subscribe and watch some of my content, and they won't regret it. Greatly appreciate it. And smash that like button. I want to aim for 20 likes for this video. Not a big ask at all. We have well over hundreds of views every episode. So you should be smashing that like button. If you're watching the video, we'd greatly appreciate smash that thumbs up button. Okay. Now, also, I've got a big announcement to make. I'm not going to reveal names, but later this week, you're going to see some more videos that are big. You'll just find out later in the week. That's just the tease there for you. Some big videos coming up here on the channel. Now, please welcome the world famous segment, Scoops Goes Bang! Boom. Oh, boy. Now, you've seen my video on the Dan Butler things. You got my thoughts on it. But I'm going to repeat it a little bit here. Just a little bit. How we got a week for a perfect tackle. If you want me to see my full rant on that, I'll probably put I'll pin it in the comment section here, in the live stream and in the comment section of the video. How we got a week for that was ridiculous. How are players getting suspended for the perfect tackle now? The tackle is dead. The Chief, Jason Dunstall, on Thursday night was not happy on Friday night when he was on that coverage as well. And I don't blame him. It was ridiculous. How are you penalising a guy for doing a run from behind tackle? He didn't dump him. He didn't sling him. He didn't bump him in the face. He didn't do none of that. And he gets punished for a perfect tackle. One, that was a free to Dan Butler, which they didn't give, and they gave it to Blakey. Two, then they suspend him for a week. And three, you had the stupid commentators, Daisy Pearce, Alison Nicholson, Hamish McLaughlin, Phil Davis, and Drew Bolton, and Daisy Pearce all go and say, or most of them say, it is dangerous, 2 weeks. And they keep saying, he was concussed, Blake, he was concussed. Do your job properly. You are supposedly the accredited journalist and the experts. You've got Drew Bolton there on the boundary line. How about you go get him to talk to one of the city, and he's an ex-Swan. So it's not like they're not going to tell him. Go ask and do your job. But you didn't do it properly, and you assumed he was concussed, and you criticised Butler the whole night from that incident onwards. The last quarter and a half, did you talk about the game? Did you talk about the Saints' great last quarter? No, you didn't. You were just talking about Dan Butler's suspension, and carrying on that like Blakey was concussed. Longmire said after the game he wasn't concussed. Now, the James Sicily one, it's a bit of an interesting one. I'm tossing and turning whether it's suspension worthy or not, to be honest. It's been sent to the tribunal, so it's pretty much going to be at least 3 weeks or nothing. And then the AFL and Sicily and the Hawthorn camp will argue what they think it's worth, and they kind of meet down the middle sometimes. So if the AFL want 5 and Hawthorn accept 3, they'd probably get 4. Or they could possibly get 3. If they bet Clubby's unreasonable, the more likely that tribunal is going to favour it in the AFL's favour, I've noticed lately. But just remember this. Sicily, I don't feel he did that on purpose. He went to tackle him, had his back turned. Brockman did not help the situation at all. So I think that impacted Sicily. Sicily tackled him around the waist. They were both on the ground, and then McCluggage kind of flipped after Brockman put off their vision, I would assume, and impacted the play. So obviously right now, probably while I'm speaking right now, the decision has been made. But if that is 3 weeks, I'd be disappointed. I understand about the concussion, and it's not good for Hugh McCluggage, and it looked pretty bad. Wish you all the best. Talking about why they went around the boundary too, by the way, and why he didn't go off on the stretcher, that's another story. That was confusing, and that should have happened. He should have gone on the stretcher. And why, if he was walking off, why did he go around the ground? Why didn't he just cut through the middle of the ground like they always do? That didn't make sense to me. But in the incident alone, I don't think Sicily meant to hurt him. He tackled him. Then when they hit the ground, McCluggage kind of flipped and fell on his neck. I feel Sicily should get nothing because I don't think he meant it. Whether he gets it or not, we may have found out right now, but I feel he deserves nothing. Now, the Ryan Mansell one, I mean, a bump, clip Aish in the head, clearly because his headband flew off, then he got concussed. Sent to the tribunal for 3 weeks at least, you would think. And to be honest, when I sent it live, I thought, oh, he's definitely getting 2. But 3 for this type of one, I mean, it's a bump, but he collected him in the head. So 2 to 3 was fair for me. So if he gets 3, I'm not going to really argue about that. Now, Jack Graham did a dangerous tackle, got nothing. And I was very surprised because every other player that's done a dangerous tackle, whether they're concussed or not, is pretty much got a week or 2. I'm really surprised at the trend that they do. I'm not saying Graham's was worth a week, but considering everyone else is getting a week for non-concussion ones or concussed players, I'm surprised he didn't get one. Really surprised. It wasn't even graded. Really, really shocked and disappointed that I didn't even look at it and give an explanation. And also, Zach Merritt. Again, didn't think it was much myself personally. But again, the trend they keep going, I would have thought he got a week, but they didn't. Shows the AFL's inconsistencies and they don't know what the hell they're doing. And as I mentioned in the Butler video, the AFL need to be gone. Michael Christian is a terrible MRO person. The AFL people in charge of the umpiring need to go. The umpiring, I'm going to get to the umpiring as well, is utter garbage. And it needs to change. 4 umpires have not worked. The umpiring in general has been shit. Players are getting suspended for nothing, some players. You can't tackle without getting suspended these days, it seems. The game is turning soccer soft. It's been turning soft for a little bit, and now it's pretty much the same level as soccer softness, soft. You see staging for free kicks, you've seen everything, and it's something that needs to be changed. Now, also, the next thing I'm going to be banging on about is the club injury list. Why do clubs lie about injuries? Like, Kane Corn's brought it up, but I've been bringing it up for a while. Like, name an injury list and stop writing words like short-term, medium-term, long-term. Because that could mean anything short-term. It could be between 1 to 4 weeks. Medium-term could be a month to 4 months. Long-term could be 6 to 12 months. Like, you've been very vague with your answers. Just say a timeline. And for some clubs, let's say, an example, 4 to 6 weeks. and they sit on 4 to 6 weeks or 4 weeks, you should be updating going, well, this guy hasn't progressed and he's been pushed back a few weeks. Like, be honest. Why do clubs hide answers of injury lists and selection and stuff? Why is the big secret? Like, seriously, be honest. Your members care about your club, but you don't care about us. Plain and simple. Every club does it pretty much in the injury list. In fact, I like the way Carlton do theirs, where they give a little detailed answer, like a couple sentences, maybe a paragraph, on each individual player that's injured and their progress. Perfect. But pretty much every other club that I've seen lately don't do that. And there may be a few I missed out on, but a lot of clubs do not. So the Geelongs, I've seen the St Kildas, I think it's Fremantle as well. It's like, just be honest. The Eagles are doing a little bit when they give updates on Nick Nat's progression and setbacks and stuff like that. Just be honest. Why hide it? I don't give a shit if the player's Paddy Cripps. Just be honest with people's injuries. Like, seriously. It ain't cool. It ain't smart. It's not a tactical move. It's a dumb move. It's a childish move. Your clubs pay hard-earned money to know what's to go with their players and why players aren't in. If it's because of injury, general soreness, just say it and be honest. And don't lie with injuries. Like, for example, some club will say someone's just got soreness, right? And they're out for 2 or 3 weeks. Like, general soreness, you don't miss 2 or 3 weeks. Be honest and say what it is. And then you get coaches in press conferences give excuses like a player might be injured and they go, like, they're playing bad, but they use one of the smallest injury excuses like, oh, he's got a sore ear at the moment, or like, seriously? Or even if it's a minor injury like that, but then they say, oh, he's carrying a sore knee injury. Just be honest and say he was no good. Do what Michael Voss said about Paddy Cripps, who played terrible this year. The journo asked him, is Paddy Cripps playing injured? He said, nope, just completely out of form. Well said, Michael Voss. Well said. And another thing I want to mention too, another Scoops Goes Bang thing, to the Carlton fans who I've seen them abusing the players like how they did. Not on. Not on. Not on at all. As I keep saying, it's not Michael Voss's fault solely. The players are the ones that kick the ball, who are turning it over, who are terrible ball users. That ain't Voss's fault. I'm going to get to that in a second. I'm going to say what I think can improve the Carlton Football Club in a second, but I hope you enjoyed that edition of the world-famous segment, Scoops Goes Bang. Now, I'm going to talk about Carlton and the Michael Voss thing scenario. I'm just going to talk about not necessarily the game on the weekend. I'll do that in the review part. But I want to go through what I feel Carlton should do. Putting my list management hat on and my scouting hat on. And I watch all the games, VFL, AFL, Waffle, Sanford, like, monitor it all. And this is what I feel Carlton should do. They've got the list. And I've seen Steve Johnson, like, seriously, say that Hawthorn are going to be better than Carlton in the next few years. Give me a break, Steve Johnson. Did Stephen Baker make you so concussed you don't know what you're saying now? Look, seriously, some of these ex-AFL players that get gigs on networks like AFL, SEN, whatever, Triple M, 9, 7, Fox, whatever, some of them are decent at the job, but a lot of them get handed it just because they're an ex-AFL player, and Steve Johnson and Dale Thomas are 2 examples of that. There's plenty more, but they're just 2 off the top of my head. Like, seriously, Carlton's list is better than Hawthorn. Simple as that. Cut the bullshit. Mackay, Curnow, Cripps, Wiedering, Walsh, Chera, Akers, Silvani. It's just like, that's just off the top of my head. Like, seriously, Sard and Doherty. Like, seriously. Carlton's problem is this. They signed too many players on long-term deals. Zach Williams, don't know why he got that long. He's not that good. And condolences too to Zach Williams on the passing of his sister. Hopefully, hope he's okay. But in terms of Carlton, Zach Williams, Mitch McGovern, that's 2 major signings they gave long-term deals to that ain't worth it. They just gave Mark Pitnett a 4-year deal, a fringe ruckman. They haven't learned. Walsh, Cripps, Wiedering, Mackay, and Kerner all got long-term deals. Not saying that none of them deserve it, but you can't be giving a bulk of players 5+ year deals. So that's their own fault for doing all that. Who they've recruited and stuff like that, some of it's been okay. I like the move of Akers. They drafted Ollie Hollands. Good move there. But I feel that their key position players, they play too many in the team. In the back line, you got, from the weekend alone, you got Wiedering, Brody Kemp, Jordan Boyd, and Wiedering. Wiedering, Boyd, and then you got Plowman and Marchbank that have played from time to time as well. Like that's just too tall. You got Sard and Doherty are really their only two small ones. In the forward line, you got Curnow, Mackay, Silvani, Tom De Koning when he's in there. When Pitnett's in the team, that De Koning will play a bit more forward. Like that's too tall. They're playing too many key position players. They need to cut it down. Now, some of them probably don't deserve to play VFL, but for the team balance, they need to be out. I don't rate Mark Pitnett at all. He shouldn't be. Tom De Koning should not be the ruckman. So what I would do from the key position side of things, because we can get to the small forwards in a second, they need, and the midfielders, they need to take out probably Tom De Koning or Mark Pitnett. Mark Pitnett for me. But then De Koning I don't want as the ruckman. Ideally, what I would have is De Koning, Mackay, and Curnow as your three tools. Where that fits Silvani, I think he's good enough to be in the team. Maybe he has to play a different role. Or maybe Tom De Koning has to play as a key defender and you push one of the average key defenders out. I would have, from the team they got, I don't feel that Tom De Koning's a ruckman, he's more of a forward. But I like the mixture of Curnow, Mackay, and Silvani. So what I would do is I'd play Tom De Koning as the ruckman, even though I don't want him to, just with the no ruckman they've got, and Pitnett's no good. So, and then in the back line, or maybe play Tom De Koning as a key defender with Wiedering, and you drop one of those fringer type key defenders or medium-sized defenders. Doherty and Sard, good players in those positions. The midfield, and I'm going to get to the midfield and small forwards now. The midfield is too slow. Cripps, Walsh, Chera, Hewitt when he's not injured, George Hewitt. Too slow. Way too slow. Akers plays on a wing. Ollie Hollands does, but he's out for the year, basically, Ollie Hollands. Akers has got a little bit of speed about him. Isn't he? He's a decent player, Blake Akers, and I liked him at the Saints and the Dockers. They undersold him, the Dockers. I can't believe that still, to this day. They offered him less than when he was on the previous year, and he was in great form that last year for the Dockers. Unbelievable. That's one of the poor moves the Dockers made, in my opinion. The trades, and Logan and Meek was a bit hard because he wanted to leave. The same with Griffin Logue. Anyway, we're talking about the Blues here, Scoops. The midfield, they're too slow. They need to bring in the team. They got too many slow guys. You got Dow, O'Brien, who's no good. You got Fisher, who could play on a wing. Just give him a go there while Hollands is out with Akers. See how that works. Got to put some explosive, some speedy plays in that midfield, but they don't really have any. I feel a player they should target heavily is Jade Gresham, a Sainer of mine. Free agent, considering moving elsewhere, 50-50 generally at the moment. I Sicily reported last night too that a big name Victorian club is looking at him. Is that Carlton? Who is it? You have to figure it out. But personally, just without any sources or anything about this, is just a personal opinion. I feel that Jay Gresham should go to Carlton, and Carlton should especially go for him heavily. He is the midfielder they don't have. They don't have a speedy midfielder. They got too many tall mids too. They need some smaller types. Gresh would fit that build. He also fits the build of the small forward brigade. He can still do what he does at the Saints and rotate between the two. He'd be that spark, explosive, speedy player that they desperately need. He's not the best ball user, but he fills those other categories at least. And then look at another player of that type as well that's a good ball user. They need more good ball users in the middle. Then there's small forwards. It's like Matt Owies is solid, but then you got Jesse Motlop, who's no good. Corey Durden, who's not that good. So they need to recruit small forwards. And Matt Owies is been solid this year. I have been impressed with his form. But he can't be your number one small forward. He just can't be. Motlop's not good enough, and no is Corey Durden. So they need players above Owies' level to play that small forward role. Again, Gresham can play that role too. With Gresham and another player, then Owies, then that's starting to look better. So that's what I'm doing if I'm the Carlton list manager. I'd probably ship off one of those inside mids. Paddy Dow, unfortunately, is going to be pushed out. Lockie O'Brien probably get delisted. Zach Fisher, I feel they need to play him on the wing and give him a go there, or give him to go in the midfield. He's got a decent left foot kick, a booming left foot kick. Give him a go in the midfield. They just need to change it up. That midfield with Cripps, Walsh, and Chera is their main mids is too slow, and they're not great ball users either. So they really do need to change that mixture up. They need small players in there. From what they got right now, who's in their team right now? Play someone like a Zach Fisher in there. I would have played Ollie Hollands in the midfield, not the wing, to give it a go. But he's now injured the last few weeks and out for the rest of the year probably. So that's what I would do if I'm Carlton. Nick Austin, Michael Voss, if you're listening, happy to help. Now, let's now move on to my AFL team of the week. From the back line, the pockets, Jack Payne and Sam Doherty. Full back, Callum Wilkie. The flankers, Jack Sinclair and Nasiah Wanganeen Malira. Centre half back, James Sicily. The wingers, Connor McDonald and Shai Bolton. Centreman, Rory Laird. The half-forward line, the flankers, Mitch Owens and Tim Taranto. Centre half forward, Tex Walker. Forward pockets, Isaac Rankin and Toby Green. Full forward, Charlie Dixon. Ruckman, Rowan Marshall. Rovers, Brad Crouch and Josh Dunkley. Interchange, Adam Treloar, Jai Newcomb, Nick Martin and Jack Viney. And the sub, 2 metre Peter Wright, in his return game in the emergencies. Sam Walsh, Bailey Williams, Jordan Dawson, Ben Keys, and Elliot Yeo. Now, and Josh Dunkley in the midfield, if I didn't mention him there. So, what's my thoughts on the team? Reasons. Jack Payne didn't have the biggest possessions, but I thought he did an okay job in the in the back line, sorry. Some intercept possessions, not the biggest possession tally, but I fitted him in here. Cal Wilkie gave Buddy a bath, legitimately. 23 possessions, like 10 intercept possessions of marks. 1% is absolute lock on the All-Australians, Cal Wilkie, and he's in the team of the week for this week. Sam Doherty had a good game. I thought he had 28 possessions. His efficiency was around 70%. Didn't have a lot of score involvements and stuff like that, like he normally does. But I was watching that game, obviously, and I just felt he was their best player, and he was really getting in there and having a say in the game and actually put in effort, because not many Carlton players can say they put in effort. Jack Sinclair, absolute lock, all Australian, contender for the Brownlow. 32 possessions again, great ball user, impact in the game. When the Swans were coming, he put the clamp, he stamped his authority in that midfield and said, that ain't happening on my watch, pal. We're getting this win. And 6 was awesome. Sicily, 32 possessions. Part of the reason the Hawks were in the game and won in the last quarter and dominated the last quarter was James Sicily. Sion Wanganeen Malira, 16 possessions in the second half alone. Get the important goal late to put us up by a couple of points or up by 8 points late in the last quarter. 30 disposals and a goal. 70-odd% at half-back had to be in. And his last quarter, just sealed a spot in there. And will he feature in the votes? Find out soon. The wingers, Connor McDonald kicked 2 goals, 28 disposals, a lot of score involvements in midfield possessions and metres gained. He just had to get in. He just simply had to get in. He was another key reason why the Hawks got the win in the last quarter. Rory Laird, 33 odd disposals. And a lot of clearances and contested possessions and high efficiency. Probably any other week, he would be the best on the ground. Tex kicked 10. Get to that shortly. And Shai Bolton, important for the Tigers late. Kicked a goal late, like 30 disposals. But when Freo were coming back, he was the man that stopped everything from happening. Even though the Heath and Hughes goal thing, which you're going to get to that actually very shortly. I should have mentioned that in Supercoach Bang, but I'm going to mention it in the Freo game, so bear with me with that. Let me write that down so I don't forget that. Freo, Heath and Hughes. All right. I've written that down. Okay. Yeah. So Mitch Owens, 2 goals 21 disposals, a lot of marks, good efficiency. He's a gun, Mitch Owens, and the favourite for the Rising Star, in my personal opinion, not because he's a saner, because he's doesn't need big possessions, but he's getting a lot of possessions and he's impacting the game. He's not just getting those cheapies off half back. Tex Walker, 10 goals. What more I say? Game 250. I'm going to congratulate Tex later on in more detail. Tex, well done on your 250th, mate. 10 goals. Absolute ripper from the Texan, Tex Walker. Kick 10, 21 odd disposals. Do I have to explain why? Tim Taranto, 2, 34 disposals or so. Great game from him. Isaac Rankin, 3 goals, 21 disposals. Had to be in the team. And there wasn't many other small forward options. Toby Green, 3 goals, 24 disposals. Best on ground for the Giants. Flat keep out while they won. Simple there. And then Charlie Dixon kicked 4, and a lot of them early when the game was in the balance in that firing first quarter. And his opponent, Josh Bruce, hit 3 on in the first quarter. So he was great. Charlie Dixon. Ruckman, Rowan Marshall, 12, 16 possessions, 51 hitouts. Destroyed Tom Hickey. Brad Crouch, 33 disposals, 11 clearances. Deserved a spot in the team and a lot of not the biggest meters gameplay, but a lot of impact chain possessions, in and under play, a lot of contested possessions. Got the hard ball and got it and feeded it out to the running players like Malira and Sinclair and Co. and Hill and that, Mason Wood and Seb Ross. And he's done a really good job in and under, get the hard possession, not the cheapies like some of the players get. And in and under, handball, boom, out to the chains and everything. He starts the chains, starts some score involvement, so he deserves a spot in the team, absolutely. Dunkley, Brisbane's best player. Could have been best on ground, hadn't been for Hawthorn's dominant last quarter, but he had to be in the team too. Treloar, the Bulldogs' best player, like a goal and 35 touches or 33 touches, had to get in. John Newcombe had 28 disposals, was a key part again while the Hawks won and had to get in the team there. Nick Martin was Essendon's best player. Jack Viney was Melbourne's best player. And Peter Wright, kicked 5. You could say he could be in there over Dixon, and I wouldn't blame him if you think that, but he's still in the team. So, what are your thoughts coming down below? And the emergencies, Walsh is the next mid. Bailey Williams is the next ruckman. Jordan Dawson, winger. He done okay, but his efficiency let him down, which is why he's not in. Ben Keys did well, but again, those midfielders were ahead. It could have put him in a half forward, but then I had Toby Green and Tim Taranto basically ahead of him, and Mitch Owens. Then Elliot Yeo was next utility player I could have put in the team or for the bench. He had a good game at 30 disposals. Decent efficiency for a team that got slaughtered by the Crows. All right. That's my team of the week, guys. Comment down below what your thoughts are. My team of the week. Now let's go review the round 13 AFL games on the weekend. Also, let's get the ladder up, everyone. Let's get the ladder up first. There we go. So we got the ladder up. You got the Pies and the Power on top on 44 points. In third place, you got the Demons after their close win against the Pies. Not happy about that. 36 points, a decent percentage. And in fourth place, equal fourth. In fourth, you got the Lions. Fifth, you got the Saints. Sixth, you got the Bombers, all on 32 points. Separate percentage is not far in between all three of them. Mainly between Brisbane and St Kilda. There's not 3% between them, not even that. The Bombers is about 6.3 behind the Saints and about 9 behind the Lions. In fact, yeah, exactly 9. So they're still a bit behind there on percentage, but on points they're there. The Crows on 28 points along with the Bulldogs. They got 15% better than the Bulldogs, the Crows. And in 9th place on 24 points, you got Geelong. Then you got the Dockers in 10th place on 24 points. As then in 11th, you got the Suns also on 24 points. Separate the big percentage gap between the Geelong and Freo and Suns. 18% between them, essentially. But between Freo and Gold Coast, it's legitimately the same. So, or almost the same, 0.6%, which is basically a goal or two. So, very tight there. Richmond, 22 points. They got that draw at round 1 with Carlton, 100%. In 12th place. In 13th place, the Swans on 20 points, along with the Giants in 14th place on 20 points. Also, percentage 7% or so between them. Carlton in 15th place on 18 points, percentage 92. Not great. In 16th place, Hawthorn on 16 points, 78%. 17th place, the Roos on 8 points on 68%. And in last place, dead last on 4 points, in 18th place, is the West Coast Eagles on 51.4%. Not good at all for the Eagles. Now, let's go review the games. starts all the way back on Thursday night. It was my Saints against the Swans in the Sydney in Buddy's 350th. The Saints had to face Buddy in 200, 250, 300 for Buddy's milestones, and the Swans won them all. But the Saints said, it ain't happening to my watch pal tonight. Cal Wilkie gave him a bath. St Kilda 80, defeated the Swans 66, Saints by 14 points. So happy, so proud, proved the doubters wrong. The Swans, yes, they're not in the greatest of form, but a win in Sydney and a ground you haven't won at since 2009, and in Buddy's milestone and all that pressure, it was a great win for the Saints. So damn proud. Owens, Crouch, Malira, Marshall still stepped up in the second half after a poor first half. It's just Filippo the solid game yet again. My man Mateus all aboard the Filippo train still. That's still boarding. All aboard. And another game from him. Good to see it. Good hard-fought win in Sinclair. How good is he? Man, he is absolutely great. Friday night at Marvel, it was the Bulldogs and the Power. Western Bulldogs 85. Defeated by the Power 107. Port by 22. How good were the Power? Well, how good was the first quarter? 10 goals between a shootout. Bang, 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 bang. Quieted down a little bit. Power set it up in the last and got the 22-point win. Butters was probably their best player, along with Miles Bergman and Charlie Dixon. The Bulldogs, McRae, Trelaw, and Liberatore were their best three players. Next game on Saturday, one of the upsets of the season, the Hawks 98 defended the Lions 73. Like 5 goals in a row in the end in the last quarter from the Hawks. Got them the win, and they're up and about. Sicily, McDonald, Newcomb, Warple, Lewis, all their good games, and there's probably a few others I'm missing. But yeah, it was a great win for the Hawks in the end. Lloyd Meek had a solid game. It was up and about, Lloyd Meek, when he got that goal in the third or fourth quarter. He was up and about, Lloyd Meek, so he should be. Great win for the Hawks. People are concerned about the Lions and the MCG curse. I don't think it had anything to do with that. I just think they got outplayed in the last quarter. Next game, Adelaide and West Coast. Well, all I'll say is 174 to 52. Adelaide by 122. You read that correctly. Adelaide, West Coast, all their players out. There's at least, I'm not going to name them, but there's at least 10 players on that West Coast side that don't even deserve to be playing waffle football right now. Or maybe 5. It's laughable. But again, it's not Adam Simpson's fault. He said COVID and injury players last year. This year it's all full bang injuries. I don't blame Simpson. Bringing in another coach won't help anything. It won't. That coach will do no different than Simo's doing. He's got no one to pick from, Adam Simpson. He can't really experiment anything. He had to play Oscar Allen as a key defender on Tex because he kicked 6.5. And Oscar Allen is a key forward who was up there in the Coleman and still is. But if he's going to have to keep playing defence because their backline is injury depleted and useless, he's got no choice. He had Witherden on Tex at one point. That shows that's not his coaching that was bad. They've got no options. If Witherden's on Tex, then you know you got no one. Rhett Bazzo, young player, not good enough to play on Tex. But they've had no choice. No McGovern, Barras, Hearn, the 3 best and experienced defenders not playing and been injured most of the year, bits and pieces for all of them. It's like they got no ruckman, Nick Nat. Bailey Williams was terrible at the start of the year, but the last 4 weeks have been pretty good. But then you go to the midfield, Yo and Shuey, that are coming back from injuries all the time. Jimby's been a shining light. Allen's been good. Williams has been good the last 4 weeks or 5 weeks, 6 weeks. But they've got no one to pick from. They have to stick with the same team, and they have to just stick with who they got. Like, Darling deserves to be dropped. He's been crap. But they can't because they've got no one. They got 2 guys playing in the waffle on the weekend. Toru Dua and Jack Williams. So it's like they're the only 2. And the 2 other emergencies didn't play. So they were the carryover ones. And yet Jacob Waterman get ill on the weekend. Yet Duggan be ill and suspended. Yet Petruski Seaton get back and how he gets a game. Well, I know why he's getting a game right now. How he gets a list. If he's got a list spot next year, then I'll be concerned. But yeah, they need a clean out. But you can't blame them for all the injuries they got here. It's not their fault. Is it the ground? Is it the list management? I mean, the load? Is it the trainers? Is it the fitness people? The Simpsons, you can't blame. You can't tell me with a straight face that another coach is going to do well. They're just not. They get that team fit and firing, though. You get Barras, McGovern, Hearn, Then you have them with the Yos and guys like that, Jane Hunt even, if you're playing on a wing or half back. Then you have a Yo, Shuey, Gaff in fine form. He's been in terrible form. All them back together, and some have nicked that, but we know that's not going to happen. And then the four line, if you had a Darling and Allen and Waterman and Jamie Cripps and Liam Ryan, that team looks far better. All those names are injured, essentially all of them. It's I know they're paying for the Eagles fans. Don't jump off. The future will be bright eventually. Just get a fit injury list and get those injury guys off, and you've got those guys in their peak or in their good form, you'll be okay. You won't be great or anything. You won't make the 8 or anything, but you'll be more competitive, and the margins won't be anything like this. But they just have to make do what they got. Unfortunately, that's why I say Adam Simpson is the man right now. No other coach is going to do any different with this list and these current crop of players in this season or next season, unless all those players are coming back from injury, which some of them will retire. And some might go out on trade. Who knows? Yo might not be there next year. Hearn might retire. You know, will they trade Gaff or Darling off or Yo off? Like, you just have to wait and see. Will they split pick one? Will they not? It's another story for another day. But Tex, congratulations, mate, on game 250. Great game from him. 10 goals. I mean, he's playing on no one, but regardless, Tex kicked his career high 10 goals. Well done, Texan. An absolute great performance. To see his 10th goal was pretty special to see in the celebration, which you knew the Crows players and fans were going to do for Tex. Now, the next game, Saturday night, at Optus Stadium. Rory Laird and Ben Keys were really good also for the Crows, along with Tex. The Eagles, Bailey Williams and Elliot Yo. And that's about it. Jimby's had a pretty good year, though. For the Dockers, 70. To the Tigers, 85. Richmond, 15. Richmond started like a house on fire. Freo came back to their credit. And then Shai Bolton was pretty much the man that stopped them in the end. Bolton and Taranto were their best players. And for Freo, Brayshaw, Sarong, and Matt Johnson, I thought was really, really good as well. All right, next game on Sunday, it was the Giants and the Roos in Tassie. And it was the Giants by 28 points, 103 to 75. Toby Green was good. Toby Bedford, I thought, was pretty good. His fellow Toby. Tom Green was pretty good. Kieran Briggs was solid. Cornelio was solid. The Roos, Wardlaw was all right. Not many major contributors for the Roos. Jack Zeeble was all right. The stats may fool you. He wasn't as good as the stats show. Still okay, but not as damaging best as he normally is. The Sunday night game, Carlton and Essendon. I've pretty much said what I've said about Carlton already, so more focus on Essendon here. Essendon 86 defeated Carlton 52, Essendon by 34. Carlton had opportunities, though, didn't they? They had opportunities to come in to the game with all their behinds. They had kick 6-16, I think it was. And Essendon were accurate. Peter Wright kicked 5. Jermaine Peter 5 straight in his return game. Good to see for him. Nick Martin was pretty good. But yeah, are they going to make the finals? I don't know. I still don't. They got an easier fixture, so they got better chance than some. But I don't think they get there. And if they do, I don't think they will. That streak of 6,000 plus days of not winning a final will continue. So they will lose to whoever they play. If they make it, that is. If they make it. And the King's birthday game on Monday. Melbourne 66, Pies 62, Melbourne by 4 points. One thing I want to say, the Neil Dano thing, the big freeze was good. It was okay. There's been better editions of the slide, the freeze slide. But the players, the Melbourne and Collingwood players, that cheer off Neil Danaher off the MCG was a pretty good moment to see. What do you guys think? So that was pretty nice of them. Expected, but still really nice of them. Brodie Grundy against his old mob got the win. You had Collingwood people, Eddie Maguire, and some few people and players say not to boo Brodie Grundy. Pies fans didn't listen. I thought it was disrespectful. Like, Brodie Grundy didn't want to leave. You pushed him out with the money and everything, and after promising him that long deal. That ain't his fault. That's the club's fault. And to boo him when your club are the one that pushed him out, not him, is pretty poor taste. Pretty poor. The Horn Francis thing is completely different in terms of the booing because of the leaving North and how the Northlanders feel. That wasn't one of those scenarios. Pretty piss poor, Collingwood fans, for that. They're on fire, as I showed on the ladder here. They're up at the top. But a loss, and now the Reka with Port. Their top spot's in danger for now. Melbourne played better. They were pretty poor against Freo and Carlton, which is why I thought Collingwood were going to win pretty comfortably, but they didn't. And they just shocked us. Shocked their fans, probably, to be honest. Viney was their best player. But Triker wasn't great in his position, in his efficiency. Tom Mitchell and Jack Crisp were the Pies' best players. Dan McStay should be back next game for the Pies. They really missed Jordan De Goey, didn't they, in the weekend? And they're going to miss him for another few more games. So we'll see how they go there. Anyway, now it's time to go through my Supercoach talk. My Supercoach score wrapped. Remember, it's top 18 players only. I had 21 to pick from. This week I've got 18 right now without doing any more trades. Before I get to that in a second, 2,165 I scored in the top 5%. The top 5% for the round. 5% for the round. Top 5% for the round. Oh, God. And top 11% overall, which I'm pretty pleased with, if I'm being honest. Progressing up 1% every round. So keep going and could be top 5% by the end of the round. And the season, which I'll be wrapped with again. I'm always generally in the top 5 to 10% generally. Had a few lean years last year or so, but I blame COVID for that, for the injury players and the players in resting out with COVID. Anyway, this is my best years in the bye rounds. I scored over 1,800 last week in the bye rounds. Now I've scored 2,165. I'm wrapped with that. My main goal personally in the preseason was to capitalize in the bye rounds, not just have one of the 3 bye rounds be good and the rest, whatever happens. But no, and I found a strategy to pre-plan things with the buys, and to my credit, it's worked. And this week I got 18, and next week I believe, without looking exactly, I think I got 17 at the moment. So if I have to do a trade next week to get 18, that's fine. And I got 12 trades at the moment, I think it is. So I mean, I don't want to change the team, and I didn't change the team last week, so I'm still going to remain on 13,000. I think it's 12 trades remaining. I may look at trading out one player, depending on Sicily, if he gets suspended. Then I'll be looking at Luke Ryan or Tom Stewart for him. I will do that if Sicily gets 3 weeks. But everyone else, I'm going to leave for now. Weddle, I'll probably downgrade next week. Unless Osen Mullen gets picked, I might do it this week, maybe. And Ryan Marrick, I'm looking at 102k forward, West Coast. Kicked 2 goals, which is probably why he scored 43 or something. So it'd be a wait and see. I'm not rushing to get him now. Well, I don't really need to. So we'll just wait and see. But yeah, that's that. And my team is still the same as you can read it. I'll read it for the Spotify and Apple podcast listeners. Backline, Jordan Dawson, Jack Sinclair, Sicily, Nick Dacos, Will Day, and Harry Sheasel. Bench, Weddle and Constable. Midfield, Laird, Andy Brayshaw, Lockie Neal, Matt Rowell, Christian Petrarca, Caleb Sarong, Errol Goulden, and Paddy Cripps. That's, again, forgetting the buys who I'd have if it was a normal week. Bench, Matt Johnson is doing terrific. He's doing better than Cripps. Alex Incotta and Blake Drury. Ruckman, Jared Witz, and Kieran Briggs. Bench, Ned Moyle. Forwards, Josh Dunkley, Jack Zeeble, Steve Cornelio, Connor Rosey, Bailey Humphrey, and Eddie Ford. Bench, Ryan Angwin and Matt Roberts. That's the one rookie left, guys, I got on field, or 2. Humphrey and Ford. I feel if I have to trade Sicily, get Luke Ryan or Tom Stewart, I'm making cash there. Downgrading Weddle, making more cash, a lot more cash there, around 350,000 potentially. So I'll upgrade an Eddie Ford possibly, or Bailey Humphrey, and then get someone around 500k and look at the options there, which I've looked at. But I'll keep that to myself, who I might select in my team for now. If some ones that aren't necessarily big percentage owned plays, that's what I'm thinking about at the moment. But that could be for the week after. You always got to pre-plan, and that's why I feel I've always pre-planned with the buys, but I've solely focused on when I trade players in about 5 weeks out. I'm looking at, right, don't want too many of these players. That team's got the buy in that round. You got to be doing that. I feel that's what I've found the most is you got to do that well in advance, not just a week or 2 before, the week of. You got to do it probably 5 weeks in advance and be careful who you trade in. About 4 to 5 rounds to go before the first start of buys. And if the 4 rounds in AFL is absolutely shit, the AFL, get rid of the buys. No one likes the buys. Get rid of the buys. No buys. Not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 you got now. Piss them all off. And then in the VFL, you got 4 individual buys per season in a 21 round season or 22. Like seriously, fix the buys. Get rid of them. We don't want the buys. And you have players that say, oh, we need the break, blah, blah, blah. but if we said we decrease your payments a week, whatever your salary is a week, and you decrease it off because you want to buy, oh, no, that ain't happening, they'd say. About the money, that's all they are. That's all they think about. But yeah, what are your thoughts on my team? Want any Supercoach advice, comment down below or message me on Instagram, AFL Info Live, or Facebook, AFL Information, Trade Rumours and Results. All right, now we'll move on to my Scoops medal. Heavily debated Scoops medal. I'm going to reenact it like the great Gillan McLaughlin. Round 13, Sydney v St Kilda. St Kilda, M. Owens, 1 vote. St Kilda, B. Crouch, 3 votes. St Kilda, J. Sinclair, 3 votes. Western Bulldogs v Port Adelaide. Port Adelaide, Z. Butters, 1 vote. Port Adelaide, C. Dixon, 2 votes. Western Bulldogs, A. Trelaw, 3 votes. Hawthorn v Brisbane. Hawthorn, J. Newcomb, 1 vote. Brisbane, J. Dunkley, 2 votes. Hawthorn, J. Sicily, 3 votes. Adelaide v West Coast. Adelaide, B. Keys, 1 vote. Adelaide, R. Laird, 2 votes. Adelaide, T. Walker, 3 votes. Fremantle v Richmond. Fremantle, M. Johnson, 1 vote. Richmond, T. Taranto, 2 votes. Richmond, S. Bolton, 3 votes. North Melbourne v GWS. North Melbourne, T. Thomas, 1 vote. GWS, C. Ward, 2 votes. GWS, Toby Green, 3 votes. Carlton v Essendon. Carlton, S. Doherty, 1 vote. Essendon, P. Wright, 2 votes. Essendon, N. Martin, 3 votes. Melbourne v Collingwood. Collingwood, J. Crisp, 1 vote. Collingwood, T. Mitchell, 2 votes. Melbourne, J. Viney, 3 votes. The leaderboard after round 13. In equal 3rd place on 17 votes, Toby Green, Nick Dacos, and Tim Taranto. In 2nd place on 19 votes, Rory Laird. And in top place on 20 votes, Jack Sinclair. What do you guys think of that? There's the leaderboard, as you said. You can see it on the screen there. Sinclair's on top on 20 votes. 1 vote ahead of Rory Laird and 3 votes ahead of Nick Dacos, Toby Green, and Tim Taranto. All of them having terrific seasons. Sinclair's had a lot of BOG performances. In fact, almost all of them in the Saints wins. Rory Laird is up there as well, even in some losses. His polls and votes has been that good. Nick Dacos has tempered off the last few games for me. Toby Green stepping up hugely in the last 3 games that he's played in. Tim Taranto, the exact same. These are guys in form, and Dacos is the only one out of that who's still doing solid, but not doing vote-worthy games for me. So the rest of those guys are rising in the votes. They're extending their lead on everyone else. There is some guys under that, but they're the key names in the contention for the Scoops medal. As you know, last year, Tuke Miller, the Suns co-captain, won it, and in the inaugural season, Jack McRae won it. So they're 2 names that you haven't really seen poll a vote this year. So there will be a new winner, you would think. Who is joining? Is it one of these names? Is it Jack Sinclair, Rory Laird, Nick Dacos, Toby Green, Tim Taranto? Or is it someone that you have not seen? There is other players down, not too far behind these guys, but there's probably a gap between a certain number, which I'm not going to reveal, because then I'd be kind of giving you away and telling you who's just behind them. So it's heavily debated, I'm sure. Comment down below. Smash that like button. Turn on the bell for all notifications if you haven't already. Would greatly appreciate it. Run through the votes one more time. The 3 votes, guys. The Saints game, it was Jack Sinclair. In the Bulldogs game, it was Adam Treloar. In the Hawks game, it was James Sicily. In the Crows game, it was Tex Walker. In the Dockers game, it was Shai Bolton. In the Roos game, it was Toby Green. In the Bombers game, it was Nick Martin. In the Pies game, it was Jack Viney. And in the Pies game, it was Jack Viney. All right. What do we got next? We're going to preview round 14. And it's an interesting round, honestly. This round, you look at the ladder's so tight. Games are important for every team. I just want to mention off the top, teams that have the bye this round are the Crows, the Pies, the Bombers, the Hawks, the Demons, and the Eagles. The Eagles really needed that bye, didn't they? Right. Starts on Thursday night at the Adelaide Oval. Looking forward to this game. It's the second place Power hosting the ninth place Geelong, 7:40 at Adelaide Oval. Will Quinton Narkle make his debut? Talking to some of the mates on the live stream, which are on every night, chance to keep an eye on it around 10 p.m. onwards. Every night, very likely, or most likely every night, after 10 p.m. Victorian time. Thursday night, Power. We'll say to Power. Will Quinton Narkle get in? I think he will against his old side. Got 33 again in the sample. The ex-Cat might get the sub. I think Riley Bonner and Josh Sin will make way for Narkle and Ryan Burton, who will get back in. One of them will be the sub, very likely, unless they push someone like Darcy Byrne-Jones or something like that. I think, Narkle could be the sub, or Ryan Burton could be the sub, and Narkle, regardless, will play against his old side. And I think he'd be looking forward to that. But I'm going to go to the Power. And so Geelong aren't in good form at all. Geelong need to win this because they got Melbourne the game after. They're in deep trouble not making the eight. If they lose both of these, their season could almost be over. Friday night at the Gabba, looking forward to this one as well. 7:50 Victorian time at the Gabba. It's the Lions hosting the Swans. I'm going to go for the Brisbane Lions because they're purely in form. The Swans aren't in the greatest of form. Will they regain a few players? Will Nick Blakey play? Had a toe injury, not a concussion. Wait and see there. They get into Calvary back. Have to wait and see. I'm going the Lions there. Saturday, 4:35 at Giants Stadium in Sydney. The Giants and the Doggers. I'm looking forward to this game as well. I'm tipping the Giants. The Giants, I've been saying this, and some people have thought it's a solid opinion. Some said it's outlandish. But I think the Giants are playing like a top 8 side. They've only had one bad loss. It was against the Pies, but like 60 points. So don't discredit the Giants. The Dockers, 2 good games before the Richmond game, or 4 games they've won before the Richmond game. I'm tipping the Giants, but this could really go either way. Now. 7:25 Victorian time, Saturday night at the MCG. It's the Tigers hosting the Saints. I'm tipping my Saints clearly. At the G, we play all right at the MCG. We beat Essendon there early in the year in round 3. Previously, we've beaten Richmond there. We've beaten Melbourne there. We've been Collingwood there. We've been Hawthorn there over the last 4 years or so. So I'm not going to rule out a win here. In fact, I'm going to say the Saints going to win by 20-odd points. And Trent Cotchin will play game 300, so congratulations to him. And one thing I was saying on the Marlon Pickett thing is obviously had some stuff. He's been in trouble. All I will say, I don't think he'll play in this game. That's all I'm saying on that matter. Sunday, Carlton and Gold Coast. Another interesting game. 1:10 of the G Sunday. Carlton Suns. I'm tipping the Suns there. Be a really interesting one. On Sunday, twilight at Marvel. North Melbourne hosts the Bulldogs. You would think the Bulldogs will win. But if North play like they did against Essendon, who's to say they can't do it against the Bulldogs, who were okay against the Power at home, but you would think the Bulldogs would get the win there. So I'll repeat one more time. Crows, Pies, Bombers, Hawks, Eagles, and Demons have the bye this week. My final thoughts are simply this. You want me on Cameo at cameo.com/Cooper G. Want me to roast a friend, wish someone happy birthday, congratulate them on something, anything at all, cameo.com/Cooper G. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Get your footy mates on board. The one thing you can do for most, it's not donation. You can donate if you want to, but subscribe is really important. It's free. I really appreciate it. Want more people to see my stuff. We've got more interviews lined up. Potentially goal kicking challenges coming up soon. There's another tease. Keep an eye on the channel. There's always content. I'm always posting, doing everything for you guys, being on top of everything. But yeah, so please subscribe. You're watching this. You're obviously a fan of my work or a footy fan. So get your family and friends who love football to subscribe to me. You get notified on Facebook, AFL Information, Trade Rumours and Results. Instagram, AFL Info Live. Right here on the YouTube channel, AFL Information, Trade Rumours and Results. Would greatly appreciate it if you can get on board. I would truly, truly appreciate it. Get them to sub. If they love footy, get them to sub to this channel and like the videos every single time they're on. Thank you all. Until next time, everyone have a great one. The most important thing of all to remember is go to the Saints and, of course, acknowledge me, the one, and kick at the Scoops back next Monday night at 7 p.m. There'll be a lot of content throughout the week. We've got a match day vlog of the Saints and Tigers will be coming on Saturday night or Sunday morning. I might release that. Keep an eye out for that. And those bonus videos, I said that they're coming potentially this week. Keep an eye out for that. And when it's done and confirmed, I will let you guys know. You'll be the first to know. Thank you all. Until the next video, take care. Most important thing of all to remember is go the Saints. And of course, again, I'll repeat it again. Acknowledge me, the one, the tribal chief, your head of the table, Cooper Gretsch.